No need to go far and wide. Let Hometown provide. Hometown Trophies and Embroidery in Lena can help turn your ideas into reality. From awards, engraving, and gifts to custom apparel and business accessories, they have you covered. Visit them today or give them a call at 815-369-9185. That's Hometown Trophies Embroidery. Let your vision become their masterpiece.
When it comes to planning for your future, you want someone you can trust. At Prairie State Investments, Mark Pfeiffer is here to help you build a plan that fits your life, your family, and your goals. Whether it's retirement, college savings, or investing wisely for tomorrow, Mark has the knowledge and local commitment to guide you every step of the way. Don't leave your future up to chance. Call Mark Pfeiffer at Prairie State Investments today at 815-668-8131 and start investing with confidence. Welcome to NUIC All Access, joined by Jay Doyle. I'm your host, Kyle Kampmier. Today we feature the head coach of Durand Volleyball and a standout player for the Bulldogs. Jay, introduce our guest to us today.
All right, today's guests are Durand head coach Kelsey and outside hitter Lola Robertson. And here's what they've accomplished. Molly is in her 14th year guiding the Durand Bulldogs. As of today, her career record is 320 wins, 110 losses, and 9 ties. Has won 3 consecutive regional titles from 2016 to 2018. Won back-to-back sectional titles in 2017 and 2018. And finished 3rd in state in 2017. Lola has recorded a career high 462 kills in her sophomore year. Recorded a career high 302 digs as a sophomore. Recorded a career high 36 service aces as a sophomore. Has set new career highs with 52 assists this season. Has a career 894 kills. A career 576 digs. Career 80 service aces. Career 88 assists. 2024 First Team All Conference. 2024 First Team All State. And has recently committed to play volleyball at Marquette University.
Thank you, ladies, for joining the show today. We are glad to have you on and talk about Durand Volleyball.
Thanks for having us.
Molly, to start with you first, can you share a little bit about your journey as a player at Durand and what inspired you to become a coach?
Yeah, so I played for Amy Damon when I was in high school, and I fell in love with the game, and I played at Fusion Freeport before Fusion. Rockford was kind of a big thing, and then eventually turned into VC and that whole snowball effect. And then I was planning on going to UD to play volleyball. Didn't end up working out. My now husband and I actually came back, and I was going to take a year break before going to play at Rock Valley and just doing JUCO for a year. And then Mr. Robertson actually ended up calling me before I started my year at JUCO. And he said, "Hey, we have an opening. Any chance you want to come coach?" And I was like, "I'm 19. Not really. This is a great idea." He's like, "We have I want somebody who knows the sport, who loves the sport, who loves our community." And I was like, "Well, got nothing to lose. Let's go for it." So I went all in and learned a lot since being 19. But I have loved every season of it, highs, lows, good, bad. I really just love being a part of the Durand community and coaching these girls. Every team has been so different in so many ways, but it has been a great journey from 19 to a lot older now. And I still love being a part of Durand. My family's here. My kids go here. The players are my kids. You'll see them in my classroom, in my home, everywhere. So
Very cool. And Lola, you're one of the standout players under Coach Kelsey. How did you get involved in volleyball, and what and who inspired you to play?
Yeah, so starting off in 7th grade was my first year of volleyball. My mom asked me, she's like, "You gonna go out for the Durand team?" I was like, "Yeah, I'll do it." I mean, I've watched my sister Rhiannon play up for a few years at that point. She did club and high school, and I enjoyed watching the game. I was more into basketball and soccer at the time, but getting into it, I was like, this is something I might want to try. And then sticking with it, I strive to be better than Rhiannon. I always wanted to be better than her. Freshman year, I played beside her and I always, that was my goal. I was like, I'm going to be better than my sister one day. Um, and then once I kind of got past that, it was more, I'm gonna play Division I volleyball when I'm older. So
Very cool.
Molly, what's your philosophy when it comes to developing athletes, both in skill and in character?
So like I said, I typed my notes ahead because I'm like type A. I want to make sure I'm prepared and I don't miss anything. um, so like as I'm writing this, I feel like they go hand in hand. Like when you have skill, you have character. When you have character, you have skill. So obviously as skill goes, I want to make sure all of our kids have fundamentals. That's really hard from a varsity coach. Sometimes you want to get into the plays, you want to get into the tricks, but a lot of our kids, especially coming from a 1A school, don't always get that from playing club. So like I am their only season to grow. So I want to make sure that we're always starting with that skill aspect, establishing those fundamentals. And when we get that, then we can run plays, we can run our tricks. We have been very lucky to have skilled players come in and kind of like show the other girls like this is, if you put in the time in the off season, this is what can happen. So we're kind of building that from a fundamental aspect. But then as far as like character, I want to make sure that these girls are developed for the real world. And I always tell them, I'm like, hey, you know what? Your job is to sit here and be a cheerleader. Maybe you don't have the skill set to be on the court, but this is going to get you ready for the real world. You're not always going to be the man in charge or the woman in charge. Maybe you're going to be a little bit lower, and that's okay. Making sure like our whole motto this season was embrace your role. So whatever your role is, if you are supposed to be the girl that gets every single ball, if you are in for 1 point in the game, if you never go in, right? If you're L2, embrace whatever role you are given and do it well. Do it with purpose. So I think that has kind of been something that is like building the character. And I always tell the girls, like, I do this with my 8-year-old son. So if he can handle that criticism, you can handle that criticism.
Well, I think that's one of the things that speaks for, I think, I'll say the higher end, better coaches, that they can get that across their team, because I think it's very hard in the world we live in that, I always use the softball analogy in ours that if, everybody's a shortstop, they go play. And if they don't play shortstop for their travel team, they just make another team so they get to play shortstop, right? But at some point, you all come together on your school team, and there can only be one shortstop, there can only be one catcher, pitcher, and you got to learn your role. And I think that the great coaches get that to where they can form that team to where people just understand their role. Not everybody's gonna be your best hitter, but there's a 1A and 1B hitter, right? And if you understand that and girls buy into it, or on the boys side buy into it, that's where you see the best teams, because kids understand their role. And that's the toughest thing, I think, as a coach these days, is people understanding that the great teams understand it.
Right.
So, Lola, playing under Coach Kelsey, what lessons or habits have stuck with you the most?
yeah, so there's definitely a lot I could say. I think probably one of the biggest ones that always sticks with me, whether that's through club or high school or season or whatever it is, it's just that we're a team no matter what. There's no I in team. It's we play as a team, we win as a team, we lose as a team. There's no, oh, what am I doing wrong? What are we doing wrong? Like we work together in practice, we run together in practice, no matter what. It's always a team. And she always stresses that. And you'll notice if you look at our film, like we lose games when we don't play as a team. Like we win games when we play as a team. So the fact that she stresses that, it really carries through in everything I do.
This is a question for both you, Molly, and Lola, in any order. How do you guys handle the pressure of, coming into this year, for what you had last year, balancing the pressure and performance in the big games?
I'll go first.
Yeah, I'll go first. In those big games, I mean, I have a role on the team. I'm a leader for sure. So really like focusing on that role of a leader, making sure that I'm helping, supporting my team throughout everything, especially in those big games. It really helps distract me from the fact that the gym's the loudest it's ever been and their student section is cheering louder than ours. And um, just the environment really, kind of like what I was saying earlier, playing as a team helps distract, like no doubt.
Yeah, I think as far as like last year, when you have a successful season, then people are kind of always out to get you. Um, and we don't mind having a target on our back. I think that's a good thing. I think that's something to be proud of when people want to beat you. However, that's making sure that we establish that mental toughness. Like, if you are always the team to beat, well, then we always have to be ready to play. Like, you're not going to take anybody for granted. And this year it kind of started out a little rocky for us. Like, we weren't sure, like, everybody wanted to beat us. And well, we weren't sure if we were ready for that. So we did lose a few at the beginning, and that's okay. I've stressed that. We are looking towards postseason. We're looking towards conference, but it's just making sure that we're always in the right mindset and we're always striving to always be the best. So we have to play our best. We have to make sure that you make a mistake, you shake off the next point. It's just kind of that habitual getting in the right mindset for every single game.
So, Molly, what qualities do you look for in the leaders on your team? I mean, you have, like you said, you have Lola, you have others on your team as well. And when you're going through with the success that you have had in recent years and you're trying to get back to that level at a high level, what are you looking for?
Attitude. Attitude means everything. And especially with girls, it gets a little scoshy as far as like, it's hard to say like, okay, man, I'm not going to be the best, but here's what I can do to support my team. And so as a coach and Michelle, who is my assistant, we're very much like on show us attitude. That is going to mean 110% because you show us that you are in the right mindset, that you are able to lead a team. You are going to be encouraging to others, even though you know they might be right on your tail to try and take your spot. Like, are you going to keep pushing everybody else when you don't feel your best? Like, who is going to constantly have one, a positive attitude, two, being encouraging, or three, has a winning mindset? Like, I don't want someone who's out there that's going to be like, well, it's just a game. Well, no, it's not just a game. It is the game. Like, it is time to buck up. It is time to get ready. And I tell my girls, like, I always use my kids' analogies because that's who I spend all my time with. So we're playing candy cane. There is no way I'm going to let my kids win. Like, no way. So if you want to beat me, you're going to have to actually try. Like, I'm not going to let you just win. And that's how I'm trying to get my captains and my leaders like, okay, it is great. Yes, this is a game. It is high school volleyball. We want to have fun, but we always want to win. This is my job. My job is to make sure we win. And so just making sure that the captains are, making sure that our goal is to win, keep control of our side, keep the positivity up, and then always communicate with each other. But I think we have a lot of good leaders on our team, Lola definitely being one of them. But we have a lot of girls who are extremely positive and encouraging to one another and definitely want the best for everybody in our program, even our freshmen. So couldn't ask for anything more than that.
Lola, as a key contributor, how do you approach leadership among your peers?
Yeah, so, whew, approaching leadership. Sorry, I gotta think about it. I don't have notes that I'm looking at.
Yeah, you should have printed those out.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, learn from coach there.
Be prepared.
Yeah, definitely just stepping up, taking the initiative. Sometimes I know from experience, girls don't always enjoy getting like coached in a sense by someone your own age. So being a leader is realizing what your teammates want from you. So for some of the girls on my team, I know that they just want to know, oh, they just hit a ball 20 feet out of bounds. Okay, now I'm going to give them a different shot idea. Okay, well, you have belly open, you have cross open. Maybe don't try hitting line. They get stuffed horribly. Okay, don't hit that. Hit this instead. Some girls need to be told what to do. Some girls prefer that. Like, they'll look at me and they'll say, what did I do wrong? I'll be like, oh, you over rotated. So I think leadership is just knowing what each player wants and then stepping up, and being the loudest person on the court is huge too. Because when it gets quiet in those games that you're down by 15 points and everyone's like, okay, well, we're going to lose this game, someone needs to step up and be like, okay, well, the game's not over. We need to keep playing. So just really stepping up and taking the role of being there for my teammates, being that person that my teammates can look up to is probably the biggest thing for me.
Couldn't ask for a better answer, to be honest, because that's exactly what leadership qualities are all about: helping each other out, giving each other advice.
And Lola winged it there.
Yeah, I know.
She winged it. Wasn't even. It came out of nowhere.
So Lola, your career stats, like we mentioned when we opened up the show, they're pretty incredible. Have you been able to reflect on that at all, or do you not really think about it at a personal level, or what does it mean to you at a personal level at the same time?
Yeah, so I look at stats every single game. Like before every game, after every game, they're huge to me. Um, but mid-game, I'm definitely like focused on the game, not worried about it. I have a goal this year to get 1,000 kills, hopefully getting it my junior year instead of my senior year like my sister. Uh, but um really my stats are just like something I look to improve on, and I couldn't get those stats without my team. I can't get the kills without a good set and a good pass. I can't get the digs without us sending the ball over the net. I can't get the assists without my attacker putting it away. So really my stats are from my team, and if you look at theirs, a lot of theirs are up in the high numbers as well. So definitely without my team, I couldn't have the stats that I have.
Molly, from a coach's perspective, what stands out most about Lola's impact on the team, both on and off the court?
I tell this to everybody. Lola, she's gonna get a big head. Um, as far as everyone's like, wow, Lola, she's so good. She's so good. I'm like, absolutely, she is so good. But you know what's better than her on the volleyball court is her off the volleyball court. And she is like a daughter because I've known her since she's been little, and she watches my kids, comes over to my house and just shows up. Um, and I'm like, she is just a great person. Like, if you have the opportunity to be in a room with Lola, you're blessed. If you have the opportunity to play on a team with Lola, you're blessed. It's not just one of those players that are phenomenal and you're like, yeah, but really, she was a terrible person, but she's a great volleyball player. Like, this is not Lola. Lola is the type of person that you want on your team. You want her on your side. She's a phenomenal volleyball player, yes, but that comes second to being a good human. Like, she's a great person. You just want her on your team, whether it's volleyball, kickball, in life, whatever. So that is kind of my big ball of Lola. No, it's very impactful. And then, like I said, her energy spews out to everybody. When everyone's down, it's her that's on the court that's going, come on, come on. It's just 10 points. It's just 10 points. I'm like, it's just 10 points? um, but it's just that type of, what did you say that word was? Aura. I learned a new term. I'm not up with the new slang, but all these girls are giving me some new slang. But no, it's just her like sense in, if you have her on your team in any essence, you're winning. So
Very cool.
So, Lola, we know that you're committed to Marquette University. Walk us through what drew you to Marquette and how did you come about that decision?
Yeah, so I committed to Marquette on June 19th of this year, I think, and you can start talking to Division One coaches on the 15th of June, going into your junior year. So, going up to that point, I was emailing all schools, Big East, SEC, Big Ten. And that week of June 15th, I had phone calls with Big Ten, SEC, Big East, whatever schools. Um, and Marquette ended up offering me on that Thursday, the 19th, in the morning. And they were also offering another girl that night. So I had to decide the day of. And I had this mental checklist in my mind of every little thing I wanted in school. I wanted to be a good program. I wanted the coaching to be good. I wanted to be a Catholic campus. And I had a checkbox of maybe 20 boxes, and it literally marked every single checkbox. And except one. And so that one box is that it's in a downtown Milwaukee, and I have a sports field in my backyard. So I wasn't too sure about how city life was going to be for me. So that day my parents and I ended up taking a trip up to Milwaukee, up to campus to see if we liked it. And it just felt like a second home automatically. So I ended up committing that night. And I've been up to campus 3 or 4 times now. I had my official visit this past weekend, actually. And every time I go, I just am more happy with my decision every time. I've yet to regret a single thing.
Do you know what you'll be studying?
Not yet. I'm leaning right now towards like physical therapy, athletic training, kinesiology, physical science, something along those lines, but still deciding, not for certain anything yet.
Gotcha.
Very interesting. Very cool as well. So, how are you preparing yourself for that jump to Division One volleyball? And what are your goals once you're there?
Yeah, so preparing is just working my butt off right now. I am trying to do all those things to get up to that level. So, especially like playing at a higher level, literally and non-literally, literally it would be like playing up high above the net and not bringing my shoulder down and hitting low and playing good, playing the best of my ability, no matter the team that we're playing, always playing up. And then also just my mental game, making sure that I'm never like too stressed on the court. I'm easy, like laid back. Nothing's too stressful. Really just spending these next few seasons that I have working towards getting to that goal of playing at that level. And then getting there, I want to strive to be like Big East Player of the Year, just the little things. And then obviously win the NCAA championship. That's huge. But yeah.
Love it.
Very cool. Molly, what advice do you give your players about college volleyball and or just life after high school?
We've had a lot of girls continue playing after high school, which is great. I kind of always tell them to find the right fit. If D1 is your fit, you have the athletic ability to go there, you're ready for it to be a job, like that's, you want to live, breathe, eat volleyball, do it. If it is more of a, you love volleyball, you just want to keep playing, maybe D1 or D2, D3 is your thing, do it. Um, Kind of just encouraging them. If you love this sport, this is your last chance to play because we're not going to be going to the Olympics if you're not going to play college volleyball. And a lot of my girls are way too competitive to play a rec league. Um, so it's more of just making sure that you find the right fit for you. If you want to play, I keep telling my girls, go. If there is any thought in your mind, try 1 year. You can always go 1 year and then stop. But it's harder to not play that first freshman year and then to walk on your sophomore year and try it. And we have a pretty tough like beginning of our season that we try to get the girls ready for. And I'm like, hey, it's not gonna be any worse than our beginning of the season. You're fine. And the girls are kind of ready for that because I think a lot of that is like, oh, am I gonna be able to make it? Am I like, yes, you are fine. You will be fine. You are a great volleyball player. So just reassuring them that if they do want to go play college ball, find your right fit. And then after college, be ready for the real world. That's kind of how we take every, I guess, position. And like we said, that embrace your role type of thing and change it to the real world. So whatever they decide to do, go out there and do it well. Don't just do it.
So feeding off of what Coach Kelsey was just saying, Lola, what are words that you would have for younger athletes looking to follow in your path?
Yeah, so I would definitely just say push through. I mean, I've had late nights, lots of late nights, really early mornings, lots of homework on those late nights. And I've gone home night after night telling my mom, I want to quit. I want to quit. I hate volleyball so much. And then I go back and do it the next day. So I think just pushing through those rough nights and those early mornings and those 6 a.m. practices or whatever it is, um, there's a good result. There's a really good result. So if you push through and you give it your all, there's no stopping you.
So Durand's sitting at 17-6. How do you feel the team's performance has been so far?
Um, so like I said, the beginning of the year was a little bit of a struggle. We were trying to find our groove.
Yep.
At first we had Lola setting because she's good at everything she does. But I really wanted her to be more of an offensive threat in the back row. So we have had to pull up some underclassmen who have done well and who have made gains in a very short amount of time. But like I said, it is making sure each piece of the puzzle is in the right spot. And I say this all the time that I think being a 1A coach it's difficult compared to 3 and 4A where you got hundreds of girls and let me have a tryout and I'm going to find good, and better. We don't get that in 1A. So you really got to put in the time and the effort with these girls and maybe mold them into, they might be a right side or an outside in club and they're going to come here and they're going to be a middle or they're going to be a setter. And so it's like, oh, well, June's here. Yep. Now you're going to start getting your middle reps, even though you haven't done them all club season. But it's really just finding the groove of where we are. And I think, knock on wood, that now we are starting to get in our current lineup. We're able to figure out who we're by, who takes what balls. If we're down, this is our game plan. If we're up, pedal to the floor. Like, we got to go. So it's like I said, I'm just hoping we're climbing and then we can hit our peak towards the end of the season. I'd rather not peak too soon and peak later. But those losses came early and I'm okay with that. I'd rather have losses early than later in the season.
So on that, you said about some younger girls stepping up. Who are some names of some girls that have stepped up that maybe sometimes don't get their name in the paper, but has built you guys into what you are right now?
Yeah. So one that we did have to pull into set and to block would be Allie Anderson. She is our middle blocker's younger sister. She's just athletic. She's strong. She's country girl. She's got muscles. She never has had a block before, and now we're throwing her into block, and she's getting good touches that we can make plays off of. And she's got pretty hands, but we're just working to finesse that skill. She's done a great job being thrown in. Amber Quine is on the right side. She's also a sophomore. She's big. She's a big lefty. She does a great job. And I think both of these girls, looking up to more of our upperclassmen leaders, are able to like take a deep breath, get in there. It is nerve-wracking being an underclassman and then having pressure put on you as being one, a huge block, or two, a setter. Two of the toughest positions you're probably going to be put in. And they're being asked to do that. So.
So you guys have had 4 close sets to last year's runner-up Stockton. What do those games teach you about your team and about competing at the top of the subsectional, which we're going to talk about here in a little bit?
You want to go?
Yeah, I'll go. So,
Lola's favorite topic.
I'm done losing to Stockton. Oh my goodness. So I think playing them really shows us what we need to work on. I think every time we've played them, we played good against them. I mean, like you said, they've been close sets. And it's just, we are right there every single time. And you can tell we want it, but there's just a few too many points where it seems like we don't want it. So I think that from the past games that we played, we can reflect on it and go from here and realize, okay, we're playing a really good team. Now we can work on what we struggled with playing this good team. And now that we're playing some lower conference games, we can work towards those things, work on it in practice so that when we might see them in the postseason, we're going to be ready for them, no doubt.
So coming off last year's regionals, what are the biggest hurdles that you guys have had to stay focused on, like you talked about, getting hot at the right time here towards the end of the year to close out a conference and head into regionals? What was the biggest hurdle to stay focused for you guys?
I think setting our sights forward. Since we've gone to state, these girls were quite young. But I keep trying to paint that picture for them. Like, you have no idea what this would feel like. Like, it is one of the top things. You won't forget it. Like, let's get conference. Once we get conference, let's try regionals. Okay. Then we get sectionals. And it's just making sure that they know each step is attainable. And if we keep playing smart and we keep our heads on straight, we have mental toughness, like, it's not far away. Are we going to play good competition? Yeah. Are we good competition? Yeah. So, I think it's just making sure that the girls have the knowledge to know that we are good. There are many games where I'm like, tell yourself, I will pass this. I will pass it. I am good. I am good. It's like repeat after me. Okay. So once you get that in your head, it's like you say it, you manifest it, you believe it. So I am kind of a big believer on that. But looking into regionals, it is scary knowing that you see a lot of strong competition. But I also believe that that strong competition is also looking at us. So it's making sure we keep everything in retrospect.
So from a coaching standpoint, Molly, what are the key factors that will help Durand turn those tight sets into wins as you move forward to the playoffs?
Yeah, I think we need to make sure we have less unforced errors. Like Lola said, when we play tough teams, a lot of time we get a little frazzled. Well, it's the end of the season. We shouldn't be getting frazzled. Like, we have to lock in and know when you make one mistake, you shake it off and you move to the next point. And then it's just making sure we're being smart, which we have made huge gains just the past couple weeks on making smarter shots, smarter sets, smarter blocks. It's just putting everything into one unified game is what's going to win some big matchups.
So besides, moving to the next one, you are a regional host again. And I got to say, Lola, your dad does a great job over there in Durand of hosting regionals. It seems like
Yeah.
every year you guys are doing it. What better year than this year
Right.
to be hosting a regional? But your subsectional is stacked with the likes of Galena, Stockton, Eastland, and yourself. We talked earlier off camera. What are some things on camera? How do you think it's going to play out, and what do you think of that?
Sure. So I am not happy because I feel like, not just from me and my girls, but I feel it for a lot of teams in our subsectional. That is not fair. We have a lot of teams that should win a regional, and they deserve to win a regional. There have been many times I have been coaching and I'm in a sectional. I'm like, this is a state game. What are we doing? A lot of regional championships like last year or the year before. Those teams in regionals are super sectional teams, state teams. It's not fair. It's not equitable to any of the teams in here. And that's what irks me a little bit, because these girls have worked so hard, and not just my girls. Many teams in our conference or in our subsectional have worked so hard and are phenomenal athletes, phenomenal teams, and they are never going to get to see a chance at a sectional or a subsection or super sectional or state in their career because of how this layout is. And I said it off air, I will drive 2-3 hours to win a regional. I'll do it because those teams deserve to be in the higher part of our postseason. And I don't think it's fair that you have a team who won't even be in a top 3 of their conference and they might win a regional. I don't think it's fair that you have teams who are in the top 10 of max preps that are going to be out in the second or third round of a regional. My thought is we put so much emphasis into max preps. Like, I must put all of her stats and all of our box scores in there. And then when we get asked to seed, then we never look at max preps. So I think it's very contradictory. And I think it's unfair to these girls and the girls who are in our subsectional that they don't get to see run in the postseason.
So on the football side of things, I utilize Max Preps ratings. I utilize high school ratings. I utilize Massey ratings. And of course, I get a lot of feedback, good and bad, on all of that. But I would agree with you that if they could go through and do a seeding based off of what teams are rated at, I think that would bring you a better overall playoff atmosphere that would really drive into what you're stating as far as getting the better teams spread out into other regionals. Therefore, they're moving into the later rounds where you can start to see greater sectional championships, super sectionals, and then lead into the state finals.
Yeah, I got to be careful because I'm one that has complained the last, I don't know, it was different when I did football, because where they're at in football, it's a little better now. In 8-man football, they got it right to where they just seed the whole 8-man who makes playoffs, right? When I was in high school for football, we did quadrants. So we would have, and we played Durand. It'd be my senior year. We were 8-1, and our first round game was versus a 9-0 Durand. And it's like, your first round game when you're 8-1 is a 9-0, right? Like, none of that made sense. And the state ended up getting it now to where they go half and half, right? So that's what we're going to get. And it's better than what it was. And I've said it the past however many years, when you got, for instance, us last year with us, Rockford, Lutheran, and Peck, you have 3 of the top, probably, I think we were ranked 5 teams in the state, and you're in the same. And that was our regional championship game was them. And then they fought it out to a 2 or 3 point game in the sectional championship, and Peck ended up winning state. That shows how close us 3 were. And we walked away with no regional, while other schools who you beat has a regional. And it's like, well, tough. You got to beat the best, or whatever that saying is. I don't know. But at the time as a coach, you want to set your teams up and you want to set everything up as what is right? And I'm not a volleyball guy, right? So I think I can say what I want in volleyball in the fact of to see Durand, Eastland, Stockton, and Galena as going to be the 1, 2, 3, and 4 in one side when they are clearly the top 4 teams in the area. 2 of those teams are going to walk away this year with what they did without a regional title. And I just think that is wrong. And, every year, you get at the end of the year, you get to write your comments to the state of what they think. And I think sometimes it goes on deaf ears, but, it's something that, you can call it complaining or whatever. I can say what I want in volleyball because I don't have anything towards it, but it is wrong. Like it is wrong in the fact that you have the top 4 teams in the area and in the state, and they're going to be playing for regional championships against each other. That it should be a sectional matchup, if anything, at least.
At least. We went downstate and watched, and there were games that went to 2. They were blown out in 2 sets. Why is that a state game?
Right.
State games should never be done in 2.
No.
And you see that, we've seen it last year in basketball to where we lost to Lutheran by 3, Lutheran lost to Peck by 2 or 3, and then Peck went on after that sectional and they rolled everybody and we went downstate, and it's like, we beat that. Now I get you've got to be careful with where you're at. My main focus is always on regionals, at least to where anybody's going to would travel 30, 40 minutes to do it. Even if you did a half subsectional A, subsectional B, just do a subsectional and get your 4 top teams in 4 different areas. I remember one year we did it and we had to travel. That's when we traveled to Rockford Lutheran. That was actually and we were the number 1 seed. That was the farthest spot we could have been. Even if we would have went to the other subsectional, it was host Warren and West Carroll, which was still close. It was Warren, West Carroll, Dakota, and Rockford Lutheran. Those 3 were closer to us than Rockford Lutheran. And you look at what happened to Peck last year in boys basketball. They should have come to, I think it was Durand.
Yeah.
And they were the number 1 seed, and they went all the way over to East Dubuque. And there's no rhyme or reason for it. I think it is what it is. But yeah, when this came out, the first thing I sent it to Kyle was, get this on. And then I said, take a look at subsectional B is what I said to him, because we all see it. Everybody sees it.
It's terrible.
It is. It's crazy. And, it would be better if they just seeded it by sectional. It would be awesome, actually, if they could seed it by the entire state, but I don't think you're going to get people around the state.
Half state would be best.
Yeah, do north half, south half, and split it off that way. I was fortunate when I played in football, which was like 2 years after you. I was in the 1 through 32 seeding. So our first round game, we had to travel all the way down to Carthage. I mean, granted, we got our butts handed to us because they were the eventual state champs. But going back to what you were saying, Molly, it was a great experience. And not only that, but then likewise, I've traveled a lot during football season specifically to go to different games because the environment and the atmosphere is different. And I've seen it in basketball. I've seen it in volleyball. I mean, my senior year, we went to state in volleyball. So we got to do all that traveling. We went to regional sectionals. We went to super sectional Woodstock, and then we went down to Redbird Arena, and it was great. It was so much fun. And I think that is a part of the whole culture and the atmosphere and the environment that kids should be able to experience.
Yeah.
So, looking ahead to the playoffs, what matchups or scenarios are you most focused on? Do you see teams who do you see yourselves maybe potentially matching up with in your regional?
I try not to think about it. First, I try not to necessarily take like a who's our opponent approach first, but like, how are we going to play our best, right? Like, what do we need to focus on regardless of our opponent? Because no matter who we see, if you're looking at the top 4, they're going to be extremely strong. They're all going to have a good block. They're all going to be smart hitters. They're all going to have coaches that are going to analyze the heck out of our team. So how are we going to play on our end? What are we going to do? And honestly, even when you look out of the top 4,
Yeah.
those teams are still extremely strong. Like, I don't know.
I was
Across-
looking as we're
So-
talking, we have it up on the side here. We have it up on the side, and you look at Milledgeville, Pearl City. Peck has played like one night they're doing those things, and the next they're winning, and the next minute they have a bad loss, but they're still there, right?
Yep.
Lena Winslow is always there. You have a Dakota team who has been beat some of the top teams. So, I look at those of Dakota, Milledgeville, Lee Win, Pearl City,
Fulton.
Pecatonica. Those are your 5, 6, 7, 8 seeds.
Fulton would be up there too. Fulton's good.
Yeah, and Fulton. So,
Yeah. I mean, there's not really a bad team in our subsectional. Like, yeah, it's rough.
yeah,
That was as soon as I posted this on social media, I saw a parent from Milledgeville right away said, "What is going on here?" And I knew exactly what they were talking about immediately.
Yeah, it's outrageous. Like, there's 6 teams in ours that could easily win a regional.
correct.
In that up,
Yeah.
I'm not
Yeah,
taking away from subsectional A. I'm sure there's some good teams in there, but
Well, and in the same sense, it's like when we say this, it's not a complaint of the other side because
yeah,
we've watched it both. We're just talking about a scenario to where I don't think anybody would say that you look at those top 8 teams, how does that match up with the other 8,
right.
right? So we're not taking anything. We're really talking about the subsectional B side. So nobody take offense and like go crazy on us about that. It's just one thing that we've noticed in whether it be baseball, softball, boys and girls basketball, and volleyball. It has been something that we've talked about for the last couple of years. We've been doing this of the way it's done, and you're so top heavy on one side and not the other, and it's very glaring.
Yeah, it's a little frustrating.
And to me, if like Kyle said there, I remember seeing that the Milledgeville thing. I mean, they have a team that, and I think of it this way: could they beat a Durand on a night or
Well, they did.
yeah, right,
Season,
right.
so
So what I'm saying is you could see that happening, and that has to, you want to see that happen in a regional championship, but that could be a play-in game
Right.
to a regional championship. And you look on the other scenarios, it's like, or a team like Milledgeville who we've heard about all year stepping it up, they're going to have to play one of these teams and not even get to play for. And it's not necessarily not winning a regional championship. Sometimes it's even you didn't even get to play for a regional championship sometimes, and some of these teams aren't even going to have that experience.
right. Yeah, I was talking to an ex-coach for a 1A school, and she had made the comment, it would have been easier for them to be in 2A. They were off by four students.
Yeah.
But easier for them to take a 2A route than it is for them this year to play 1A, which is that, that still that irks you a little bit. Like I
Right.
want these teams, my team, any of these top teams to have a chance at this awesome opportunity, and it's just stripped away from them before they even get a chance. So that's a little disheartening.
Yep.
Well, we really do appreciate you diving deep into Durand volleyball, the current culture that you have established for Durand, the great players that you're building up there as well. Lola, we really appreciate you being on as well. Obviously, you still got another year under you to stand out for Durand, plus moving into the playoffs yet this season before you venture off to Marquette. But we're very excited for the trajectory that you're on. And, we wish you both the very best of luck as the playoffs begin to loom near for you guys.
Yep. Best of luck.
Well, thank you.
Yes, thank you very much.
Jay and myself will look back at the last 2 weeks when we return right after this. Transform your outdoors with Baber Service Company. Landscape design and construction, including retaining walls and patios, mulch and rock beds, seasonal cleanups, and so much more. Serving Joe Davies, Carroll, Stevenson, Winnebago, Whiteside, Ogle, and Lee counties. Enhance your outdoor space with expert craftsmanship and attention to detail. Contact Baber Service Company today at 815-291-6334. Jay, we just got done talking with Molly Kelsey and Lola Robertson, and man, that was a great conversation. It was awesome to see the passion and energy that both of them bring. Really impactful information that I felt we delved into. I loved hearing about what Durand has done. Obviously, Coach Kelsey started at Durand when she was only 19 years old. Obviously, now in her 14th season now, if you include the COVID season. And, she has definitely geared Durand to be one of the top teams in the area. And they're not in the top 10 rankings right now, but they arguably could be in the teams receiving votes if it went out further.
Yeah, I think easily enough. I think their early record has got them out of that, but I think anybody that has watched them play and know the weapons that they have, know that they can play with the, the big three or so that are in the top 10. But, listening to Coach Kelsey, it's someone that why the girls want to play for and how they play. Just has that sense of, not if she coached, whether it be volleyball, basketball, any sport, they're going to play hard for her. She's going to get the most out of them, and they're going to be competitive. And what I love to hear is they play to win.
Yeah.
They play to win, and it doesn't matter. She's bringing up sophomores, different spots, different everything. Doesn't matter what spot you're playing. If they need this, they're gonna try to get that out of somebody that shows that, and that's what a true coach does.
Yes. No, it was great. I mean, I was sitting there as we were talking, and she was talking back with us. I was sitting there thinking, man, I could play for her because she made.
I don't know if either of us right now.
Well, I'm not right now. I'm not in shape to play for her right now.
We might pull something doing that, but definitely. I know what you're saying with that. And I think people that listen to this will get the same vibe, because I felt it too. Us as, being on the coaching side, listening to it, you know the ones when you talk to that get it, and she gets it.
Yeah, no, it was great. Obviously, talking about Lola going on to move into Marquette here after her senior year next year. I was really impressed with how she had looked at what her future plans were from an early stage, getting involved with volleyball, to her goal planning, then achieving that goal of becoming a D1 volleyball player, and then just the whole impact that she had. I mean, she had an entire checklist that she wanted to go through. I mean, she was just so well prepared for a lot of things that you don't always see out of a high school student as a junior, nonetheless. And granted, that's usually, like she said, that, this is the time frame when they're starting, the D1 colleges can start talking to you and stuff. And I don't know, she was just at another level for me.
Yeah, no, and being around some girls that, get it, and whether it be playing at that Division I level, but let's just talk about girls that get it in the scheme of goal-minded, right? You could tell Lola was goal-minded in what she wanted and how it was going to work out. And those girls that have that do check the boxes. All of them will check the box to make sure that this is being done for this to be done, for this to be done. And goal-minded young women is one of the coolest things, because we don't, some people don't see or hear of it. And we have a great group year in and year out lately that we're seeing at the D1 level, going on to play sports. We have a lot of girls going D1, D2 level just for academics, right? And those are things that get missed in that a lot of these young ladies out there are goal-minded, career-minded, and checking their boxes, and that was great to hear Lola that, starting in 7th grade when she started playing volleyball, she had her checkbox of what she wanted in a college, what she wanted it to provide, and it had to fit her narrative, and that's a cool thing to listen to
Yeah.
because it's like that's how they, you want them to react.
Yeah, I loved the foresight that she had, and of course, just the journey that she took to get there, and obviously always wanting to compete with her older sister Rhiannon. So that was awesome.
You always got to get that. The older sister always has to get it because the younger one's always coming after you.
Yeah. Oh,
So
yeah.
that was very cool.
Oh, so let's take a look at some things that we have coming around. We touched on it in the show with the subsectional. We'll start there. Obviously, we have state-ranked teams in Galena, Stockton, and Eastland, all at 6, 7, and 8. They've been that way for the last 3 weeks, in fact. And when you take a look at their records, they're all right around the same area as well. I think 21-2, 21-3, 21-4 or something where.
Yeah, and I don't know if you can do it quietly, but Galena has been the quietest top team in there with their play. A lot of the talk was of these other teams, and they have just, done what they needed to do, and kind of, if you can fall under the radar at number 6 in the state, they have kind of fell under the radar, and they have always been that. And I think everyone thought when Gracie left, there was going to be some drop off, which you're going to have drop off when you lose a Gracie Furlong and anything. But a credit to the coaching staff and the players there. They have just picked up where they left off and are a state contender again.
We'll need to get Coach Wills on the show because he's definitely created Galena to be a state power year in and year out.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest. Not that you ever want to see your top players graduate, right? But when Gracie Furlong left, that was a question. And for them to do what they're doing without is just a credit more to him as a coach and their coaching staff than anything, that they took a hit with Gracie leaving, and they're,
right here.
Yeah, right here, right here again. But yeah, again, like you said, Galena at 6, Stockton at 7, Eastland at 8, and you got a bunch of the other powers out there that are lurking and waiting for the conference to be decided, and then everybody will be geared towards regionals.
Yeah, that's coming fast.
Yes.
Man, real fast.
Yes, very fast.
Eastland's Morgan McAuliffe was picked as, she picked up her career 1,000th dig this past week. So big kudos to her. Obviously, she's put together a great career, senior now, and likewise, playing along with another D1 commit and Trixie Carroll, who we had on the show a couple weeks ago, and it goes back to like what Lola was talking about. Her numbers are set up because of her teammates. And you're seeing it here with Morgan. So congratulations to Morgan on a great accomplishment and feat there. Obviously, Eastland, again, another team that we're talking about as the volleyball playoffs start to come into focus here. And then Lena Winslow's Lila Grindy was just named to the Pekin All-Tournament team this past weekend. So congratulations to Lila on that accomplishment. She's Lena Winslow, another team that we've been talking about. They kind of have not performed to the level we had anticipated early, but they're always in the mix. They're always battling. They've lost some tough ones. They've also won some tough ones. I look for them to be a team to watch out for when we break out into regionals coming up as well.
In golf,
yes. Let's go to the regional championship for both. There's 2 different regionals that we saw NUIC teams in. Dakota won the one regional championship that was held in Lena, and Cone Lawler was the medalist for that, earning a individual medalist and regional championship with a 72. And then on the other side, Fulton placed second in their regional as a team, but Owen Van Zuden for Fulton was the medalist there and shot a 67. And taking a look at the sectionals right now, it's not final yet, but Fulton does have a lead right now as they're in the clubhouse waiting for other teams to finish up with holes 17 and 18 left to be played. So it would be awesome if we see Fulton come home with the sectional championship as a team as well.
Correct. And moving on, we were talking about this off air. Big weeks of football coming up. 8-man, a lot of stuff will be decided. 11-man is what kind of got us looking ahead, because in the last 3 weeks, you're looking at the teams forward. One of the biggest ones will be Galena, sitting at 3-3 now. They got their last 3 games: Lee Win, Dakota, and then Fulton. So we're not sure how the Galena game's going to go, but then that puts them in you got to win weeks 8 and 9 versus Dakota Forest. And Lee Win, they have Galena, EPC, Dupec, and they've been playing great football like expected earlier in the year. Dupec has Forreston, Stockton, and then Lee Win, and Stockton will have EPC this week, Dupec, and then Forreston. So all of those schools now kind of have that round robin that's going to play a big factor into seedings 1 through 16 here coming up in 4 weeks.
Yeah, I mean, one can argue that Stockton is the favorite right now, and they have been ever since that week 2 win over Lena Winslow. But when you take a look at the next 3 weeks, they got through a big one this past week with Galena, winning that one 30-12. But now with EPC, Dupec, and Forreston coming up, and that's a combined 13-5 record path for those 3 teams. That is going to be a tough stretch of road for Stockton, but should further improve them as they get into that playoff picture. Dupec, like you said, another tough road there. Forreston, Stockton, Lena Winslow. They're sitting, that's a combined 15-3 record between those 3 teams remaining on Dupec's schedule. They put up a great effort against Byron. Nobody can negate that from them. They led 14-12 at halftime, but Byron just completely shredded them in the second half of that game. What we had, well, obviously a lot of people had anticipated, but at the same time, Dupec definitely met the hype. They played a very physical style of game, which was great to see out of them. And, hopefully they can continue to build on that as well. But they got some important games coming up right now. Obviously, week 8 against Stockton. Stockton is the favorite in that game. But surprisingly, at this moment in time, and this can all change, so don't take it verbatim. It can all change, but right now, Dupec would be favored over Lena Winslow in that week 9 matchup. So it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun to see how it plays out.
We'll let you put that up on NUIC football and then have everybody go crazy that you're picking someone.
I know.
Again,
I love it.
It is a prediction off of computer.
Yes.
Not our prediction.
Yeah.
Or Kyle's prediction. I see that so many times, and I laugh and I text you because I see somebody going crazy on you, and you just have to always reply, "This is just a prediction. It's just a prediction. This is what the computer has you losing. I'm sorry. I can't help it." But they get kind of comical after a while listening to, and it's like,
some people just can't seem to accept the fact that their team's not as good as they think they are.
Yeah. That is what it is. But yeah, like you said, the Byron game with Peck, at some point you knew Byron was going to the quote unquote wake up after that first half, and you've seen what they're all about. Now, that's probably a good game for Byron because they got to get ready because they're going to have a tough 3A, schedule coming up because they finished their last 3 games with Genoa, Kingston, Rockford Lutheran, and North Boone, 3-3, 0-6, 3-3, and then they're going to be hitting the playoffs from there. But for a Dupec, that's what and it's no different. You have the Lee Wins and the NUIC for Dupec. You have the Byrons in the Big Northern that is like the big brother of that conference. Just like the NUIC, there's the bottom half that I think Dupec is going to have a the good chance with, but they have to, in their sights, they're going to be playing now against a lot of 2A, 3A schools. They're going to have to up their game to get to the Byron level if they want to compete at all in the playoffs moving forward.
Well, and being able to play Byron every year is going to definitely help them in that movement in the right direction. Obviously, Byron does a great job developing, and I do like where Coach Demas. Well, it started with Coach Hoffman, and where Coach Demas is now at. I mean, you can see it. Dupec is doing the right things. They just got to get even just a little bit more buy-in to get to that Byron level, and then who knows? Anything's possible after that.
Well, and it's tough to compete against a Byron. I mean, they're in a different category in my brain of even just the NUIC football when they want to play. They're at a different level. The 3A level and the 4A level, I think people don't understand the difference in product of the top teams. When you see the Byrons and the IC Catholics and those type of schools, they're a different level. And
it's fun.
And not knocking anything at the 1A level, but I think in the past years, the 1A and 2A has kind of just been not
as competitive.
You've had the really, really good teams, and that's why you see the really, really good teams winning it and getting there every year, because there's such a drop off at the 1A level of teams fighting to just have a team rather than at the 3A, 4A, 5A. I mean, you go to the big boys, and that's a whole different, that's small college football there. But I've always said when you got to the 3A, 4A level, that's when you started really seeing programs that play a main offense, a main defense, and stuff like that. And you don't have that in the 1A level, no matter who you are. They're playing about 15, 16 kids in a big game, and that's about it. And Byron is something of a different, but that's where Dupec's gonna have to be.
Yeah, lots of fun to see.
Very
that.
Cool. And you got to see it.
I did
right up front.
Up front and right in my front view.
Yeah.
I think I even almost got ran over by Andrew Talbert.
Yeah.
But
very cool. Like I said, the next 3-4 weeks, we talked about it today. In the next 3 weeks or so, we're going to have the regionals coming out for volleyball.
Yep.
The playoff picture in football in 11-man and 8-man is going to be even more clear. And the one you put out yesterday really was a clear picture that the biggest fan of all that was probably South Beloit.
Oh, yeah.
Because if you look at one side to the other, South Beloit has played themselves into a great position. If everything plays true to what you have, your Milledgeville, your Polo, your Amboy are on the right side, and your South Beloit with a Pawnee Salt Fork possible big matchup coming up will be the 1 seed on the left with them. And we've said that talent-wise, South Beloit is probably one of the most talented teams out there, top to bottom. And they had to really there was probably a lot of likes from South Beloit.
Oh, I'm sure.
For that, because that's the thing. I mean, you look at the 8-man, and that's the good and bad of it. I mean, you can see it, and it's 1 through 16, and the top play the top, and it doesn't matter where you're at or where you're traveling.
Right.
1 plays 16, 2 plays 15, and we play it out that way. And but when that came out, that was the first thing I seen was the big 3 on the right, and then a South Beloit on the left.
Yep. Nope. I agree with you there. It's going to be tough. Obviously, Milledgeville has a big showdown in week 9 against Missouri's state runner-up last year in North Shelby out of Shelbyville, Missouri. That game is going to be taking place in Bushnell.
And credit though to a Milledgeville team knowing how to. I think you used the word iron sharpens iron, right? I mean, you could have taken a forfeit, and they're going to travel there to play a top team. And that's how you get to where they want to be. And that's not just to make the state title game, but that's to win it.
Right.
And that's going to be a great matchup in that game.
It should be. And right now, if Milledgeville is to win that game, which last week they were projected to win it, this week not. So it just goes to show you how much those things can just change. That's why, playing the game still matters.
Mm-hmm.
But, right now they're projected to lose it. If they win it, they'll be the 1 seed, no questions asked, because they'll have the most playoff points out of any team with a 9-0 record, and it's not even close.
Yep.
But, as far as our playoff show, we'll have our playoff show coming up on the 25th of October on Saturday. We'll start at 6:30 p.m., Myself and Jay will both be on it, along with a couple other cast of characters, as we put out our annual playoff show for NUIC football. So you can catch it on our YouTube channels over there. Obviously, all that information will be plugged out and getting put out here in the coming weeks. But great times. We are looking to add a couple different things to it this year, where we're going to try and get some coaches on the call and have actual coaching interviews while we're going live with it too. So going to be a lot of fun. Looking forward to it. Very excited.
Yeah, if you're part of the playoff mix or that team, it's the most exciting time of the year of playing for that playoff and seeing where you're traveling, who you're going to play. And I think the hope for a lot of the schools around here is you play somebody different.
Yep.
Round one, at least round one, you get to travel or you get something home, and you get to play somebody didn't just play the week before or 2 weeks before. You get to play someone new, and that, whether it be 11-man, 8-man, that's the biggest thing for anybody, is just play someone new and try to get to round two.
Yep. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Yep.
I don't know. This fall season has just been so exciting so far.
And it went really quick.
Yeah.
Honestly, I mean, before you know it, we're a couple weeks away from seedings for regionals, and we're just a couple weeks away to have a playoff picture in there. At 3 weeks away, actually, and the playoff show, and then all of a sudden it's win or go home.
Yeah. So get out to the games, root for your teams. As always, root for the NUIC.